Let's talk to Justin Urquhart-Stewart. He's chairman of the Regionally Investment Platform and joins us now to talk about, Liz Truss, past, present and future. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
Good morning. Now, we've got, we've got an interesting day, week ahead. We've got tomorrow, we're expecting the latest inflation figures, the CPI figures. And, of course, we're also going to have that Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee meeting on the Wednesday. We find out at midday on Thursday what they're going to do with interest rates. A lot of people with variable rate mortgages or indeed renting, that impacts on them, or indeed coming off a fixed rate in the coming months are going to be watching very, very closely on that. And, of course, the interest rate difficulties really were seen to begin under Liz Truss's premiership a year ago, around the time when we had that, what many regarded as disastrous so-called mini-budget, major announcements in that budget by Kwasi Kwarteng, her then Chancellor. Yesterday she gave a speech to the Institute of Government where she basically took some responsibility for how she delivered her economic policies and how she announced them, but not for the actual announcements themselves. What did you make of her speech, and how much do you think she was responsible for our interest rates going sky high?
I have to say, I thought the whole speech sounded like a load of cobblers. Someone who really doesn't seem to understand how the economy works. Mind you, there are very few people who know how the economy works, including the Chancellor, I suspect,
I was going to say, definitely, and the Bank of England Governor.
We can add that in too. So here we are in a situation where we had a leader for a few days who actually did some serious damage to the UK economy. It's not just in terms of value sterling or anything like that. It's our international reputation. And that reputation is vital because people need to look at Britain and say, they're good for our money, so I'll buy their government gilts and fund it. But a lot of people are sitting around saying, this place is a mess. When you've got a leader like that, I think I'll wait till things actually start to improve. And so that brings us in what improving. We're going to see inflation down maybe a little bit or up. We've got oil prices rising again. We're taking it to $100 a barrel. That's inflationary. And then we've got the tools which the government are using, or Bank of England are using, to try and control inflation. They're going to put interest rates up at exactly the wrong time. Yeah. We know the consumer is spending less, and the consumer is the primary driver for our economy. So actually what they're trying to do at the moment is use the wrong tool to try and bring inflation down. This is not about a consumer boom. Yeah. Never was one. No. This is about supply.
And that's the thing a lot of us never understood. They were too late to the party, the Bank of England, in terms of putting interest rates up and stopping printing money. And then they decided to sort of carry on anyway. And again, those jokes on social media. You had one job. They literally have one job, is to keep inflation down, and they've spectacularly failed at that. And then they'll sort of claim credit as it does come down, as indeed Rishi Sunak is trying to do. But of course, it's got nothing whatsoever to do with any government policy. Well, it's going down, going up, it definitely did. But it's actually down to external problems, Ukraine and goodness knows what, and long-term issues like our energy policy, and of course the decisions in lockdown, not COVID, decisions over lockdown.
There's a fundamental problem here because they haven't given them the right tools to be able to do it. It's like going off, say, go and repair my car. By the way, you've only got a spanner. You need to make sure that the people who are actually making these decisions actually have the power to make other changes. For example, in terms of actually creating tax incentives for more investment, actually making sure that our funding is as cheaply as possible, and making sure that actually the inflationary pressures are smoothed out by making sure those supply chain issues, in terms of whether it's food or whether it's manufacturing, are actually made as smooth as possible. That's how you bring down inflation there. And it's got very little to do with interest rates. They've already gone up too far. Interest rates, when you put them out like this, tend to have a 12-month, 18-month lag. So we're going to be seeing this problem hitting us in a few months' time, even though we've got it right now.
Yeah, indeed. When Liz Truss said that, she admitted that she did try to go too far and too fast. She said basically it was all about the presentation and trying to sort of deliver a massive big change to the sort of the mindset of the country and the Bank of England and the Treasury and the whole, country and the economy. She said it was certainly true that I didn't just try to fatten the pig on market day, but tried to rear the pig, fatten the pig and slaughter it on market day. But she didn't apologise for that. She's basically saying, look, the trouble is we've got, left-wing infiltration of think tanks, the Bank of England and other institutions, and that is why we've got the problem we've got. We've got a low growth because of that thinking. I imagine you've got quite a lot of sympathy for certainly that sentiment.
Well, sympathy in terms of being able to make sure that they can act to do something. But what she was doing, I'm afraid, was actually coming out with very enthusiastic statements, good positive stuff. We want growth. but you can't have growth if it's not being funded in the right way, and you haven't been through the processes in terms of speaking to various key elements of actually making sure people actually check the numbers and figures. That's a well-trodden path. Yeah. If you're going to bypass all of that, you're going to have to make sure you've got real confidence. And I have to say, when it comes to her presentation skills, I think she needs a little bit more after that embarrassing speech she gave at the Tory party conference about us producing not enough cheese. Well, I mean, frankly, it just looked awfully amateur and cheesy. So I'm afraid she carries very little political weight. And in terms of economic issues, there's lots of other people I can talk to, including my cat, probably get a better idea.
Wow. Justin Urquhart-Stewart, thank you very much indeed for that.